Hello again. If you haven't watched the previous tutorial on keywords, please do so before watching this one on databases. Remember that you can find subject and course research guides on the library homepage under Guides, Subject Guides, or Course Guides. The English W231 course guide is there, as well as in your Canvas course site on the Library Research Guide tab. You can also contact the library for general help by phone, email, text, and chat. This is the second of 2 tutorials for English W231.
So what are databases? They are containers you can search holding collections of organized information that is sometimes tagged so you can easily retrieve what you are looking for. We will come back to the idea of tags in a moment. Pause the video and see if you can find the databases icon on the library homepage, ulib.iupui.edu. Then continue with this video once you find it. Scroll down to click on the databases icon. You'll see that IUPUI currently has access to 660 databases. You can quickly get overwhelmed trying to choose which ones to use. But there are 2 ways that librarians help you figure out which ones are the best for your project. Through the filters here on this database page, or through our guides. If you use the filters on this page, you'll see that if you filter by subject, type, or vendor, your results get smaller and smaller. And as you can see, there are 12 EBSCO brand databases containing articles that are associated with the subject of English.
Okay, so the second place you can find databases is through the library research guides. Each guide has database recommendations from subject librarians. You can find the guides by clicking on Guides on our homepage and selecting either subject or course guides. In this case, we'll look at the English W231 course guide. On the first page, you'll see a list of databases that I recommend for this course. Here is where you will find the subject librarian with their contact information. And if I click on the business subject guide, you can see that Catherine Macy is the librarian for business. As with all subject guides, Catherine's subject guide has a page listing the databases relevant to that subject area. Every subject area has a librarian responsible for it, so feel free to reach out to the librarian for any area that you are working in. As a side note, be sure to always access library subscription databases from the library website. If you just Google the database, you will not be recognized or authenticated as an IUPUI student. This is especially important if you are off campus. I've put information about connecting from off campus in the English W231 course guide on the help page.
Most databases have similar functionality, even if their appearance is quite different. So let's jump into the main search screen of a business database called ABI Inform from ProQuest. As I mentioned in the keywords tutorial, you can search using a single search box by typing in your keywords and separating them by AND. All databases recognize this search function. Even Google treats the spaces between the words you type in as if it were the Boolean operator AND. So you may not have realized it, but when you search in Google using a natural language phrase, Boolean logic is working for you in the background. So wait, what is Boolean logic? And what is this AND? In the last tutorial, I compared AND to the mortar between your building blocks. It holds 2 terms together. In this Venn diagram, you can see that if you search for puppy and kitten, your results will have both terms, which is represented by the overlap of the 2 circles. This actually narrows your search down to only those documents that contain both terms. On the other hand, if you use OR, you expand your search to include all of the terms that you connect with OR. It's like saying, I don't care if I find information on puppies or kittens, either one will do. And once in a while, you might need to use the NOT operator to block something out from your search. I pretty much only use it when I'm getting what I call clutter in my results. So if I'm interested in recruiting students to volunteer for charities and I search recruit and volunteer and students, but keep getting military recruitment information, I may want to use the NOT to declutter the information on military and prevent it from showing up in my results. Okay, back to ABI Inform. If you're using the advanced search screen, it's a good idea to keep unique concepts to separate lines. As you can see in the first screenshot, each term is on a different line, and the AND is selected from the drop-down to the left of the search boxes. The database treats this search the same as if you had typed all 3 words in a single search box with the AND in between them. If you want to step up your game and be more efficient in your searches, you can throw some of your synonyms in the OR boxes. The OR operator tells the database you want at least one of these terms, so it makes sense to use the OR between synonyms, right? Either you want a result that contains the term email, or you want one that says email communication. Either one will do. Check out my example in the second screenshot. Notice how I have email or email communication in the same box on the same line, and technology or tech on another line, and startups or startup businesses on the third line. I recommend using one concept per line and keeping its synonyms on the same line. If you prefer to use a single search box, you can isolate your synonyms within parentheses, as I have shown with the text on the right arrow, and I will show it to you on the next screen as well. Here are a few tips. You can type the AND or the OR in all caps inside any of the boxes, not just the first one. Not all databases recognize the Boolean AND or OR if they are typed using lowercase letters, so it's just a good habit to always capitalize them. Also, the quotation marks will search the database for an exact match, so be sure that your phrase is actually a phrase that others use and not something you invented. If you're not sure, separate the phrase into individual words and put the AND between them. For example, startup and business instead of startup businesses. Here's what a complex search using both AND and OR would look like in a single search box. You may find it easier to use the advanced search screen, where you can just use the boxes. But you'll notice that often when you use the advanced search screen and you run your search, the information in the boxes will be translated into a single search phrase like this anyway. So look for that in various databases. It may be useful to think about database search skills in 2 categories: things you type and things you click. We've already talked about the things you type, like Boolean operators, quotation marks, and parentheses. So let's look at filters. There's good news. If you have shopped online, you already know how to use filters. When you are on Zappos.com and click your shoe size, type of shoe, and color, you're clicking on certain characteristics that you want in your result. It's the same with databases, only you're clicking on the type of document you want, an article from a journal or a news story, etc., the publication date, and other characteristics. Thanks to 2 mathematicians, George Boole, who gave us Boolean logic, and S.R. Ranganathan, the father of library science and inventor of the concept of faceted searching, your online shopping, your database searching just got a whole lot easier. You can see I've done a Boolean style search in the single search box, and I got 71,291 results. That's way too many to sort through, so we'll use some filters to narrow down our results. In the second screenshot, you can see that I've narrowed down to 160 results. To get to this number, I filtered for articles that are peer-reviewed from the source type scholarly journals with the publication date during the last 5 years and the subject startups. You might ask why I had to choose startups since it is one of my keywords. Well, this is where tags come in. When you use the database subjects, you are filtering for all of the articles that are tagged with that subject. The tag tells you these articles are about startups rather than just mentioning them somewhere as a keyword. Now at this point, if you want to narrow any further, you can do so in many different ways, but here are a few. You can use the Search Within button, which is really just the same as adding another AND with a keyword. You can use another filter, such as company or location, or you can include more than one subject in your subject filter. Again, as you do multiple searches, keep track in your research journal or a spreadsheet so that you know which searches and filters produce the best results. You can also create a ProQuest My Research profile and save searches and documents to your account. EBSCO also offers this option. Here's what your research journal might look like. As you can see, I experimented with both keywords and filters, and the changes I made, which are shown here in blue, make my results get narrower and narrower. I also differentiate between the number of results in the third column with the number of filtered results in the fifth column. The filtered results are hopefully more relevant than the unfiltered ones. Keep space for comments and citations that you might want to use in your project. Your next task is to try a few searches in at least 3 different databases that I recommend on the English W231 guide. Keep track of your results in your research journal, whether you use my example or come up with your own system, and take evidence of your searches to class with you to share with your instructor and classmates. Now that you know how Boolean-style searching and filters work together, you should feel confident to jump into any library database and search for information. For help with evaluating the articles you find, citing them, connecting from off-campus, and much more, please take a look at the English W231 course guide. Again, it is linked to Canvas through the Library Research Guide tab. Good luck, and feel free to contact me for further help.